We call these my magic beans because ever since we've had these beans, we love them. I actually got the recipe from, you can see I've used this cookbook so much. It's called How to Grill. Pages are falling out. We have used this over and over, and I highly recommend buying it. But I did make this recipe from they're called sweet and smoky baked beans. I've made a few tweaks that are a little bit different from the recipe, and I have some suggestions for making it. You can make it a little simpler. There are a lot of ingredients. It's very easy to make, but there are a lot of ingredients, and I have occasionally dropped out several of the ingredients. It's still good, but boy, when you put all the ingredients in, the flavor in these beans is amazing. We have them for almost every cookout. I start with a cold pan, so I'll go ahead and get that turned on now. I'll put it to probably medium high, and I'm going to start with the bacon. The recipe in the book calls for 6 ounces. I don't really know how much 6 ounces is, but I use 4 to 6 of the thick cut bacon, and it needs to be cut into small pieces. You can use a knife for that, but I have a cooking scissors, and that is an awesome tool to have. And it makes cutting this bacon so much easier. Okay, you can hear the bacon is starting to sizzle. I'm going to cut up 2 more pieces to put in here. Like I said, I usually use 4 to 6. Dwayne likes the more the better for bacon. So part of the purpose of the bacon is the grease of the bacon. So I do not drain the bacon because grease will be used to help caramelize the onions once I put the onions in. And I don't let the bacon get fully cooked. You can see here it's cooked, but it's not crisp. So I have cut the onions. When I cut an onion, this pointer for my college girls, when I cut an onion, I like to chop off the top part of the onion, and then I peel back a couple of layers to make it like a handle on the onion before I slice the slices, and then I dice the rest of the onion. Go ahead and get that in there. Now, once I get the onion in, it won't be very long before it's going to be ready for all the other ingredients. Once the onions have cooked a little, give them a good stir, and I'll start putting in all the other ingredients. Three kinds of beans, dark kidney beans. Now, the recipe in the book, what does it call for? 3 cans of Great Northern beans, but actually what I use, dark red kidney beans, black beans, and cannelini beans, which are white kidney beans. Give those a good stir. So we'll start with the brown sugar. Three tablespoons of that. And as you can see, it's kind of sort of 3 tablespoons. I need 1.5 tablespoons of dry mustard. Those are my 2 dry ingredients. So I'll start with 3 tablespoons of molasses. And give it a quick stir. And I'm going to turn it down. 3 tablespoons maple syrup. This is the maple syrup we brought from Canada. We went to Canada last year. It was gorgeous. Went to Gimli, Manitoba. 3 tablespoons barbecue sauce, and I'm not sure why the label came off, but it's Casey Masterpiece. That's what I always use. Another stir. 1.5 Worcestershire sauce. Apple cider vinegar. 1.5. Whoa! I think I did that all in one pour. If you don't have apple cider vinegar, I think it would be okay to use white vinegar. I've always had apple cider vinegar, so I've just always used that. And again, with any of the ingredients, if you don't have something, I know the first time I made it, I didn't have molasses. The last thing I'm going to put in is 1/2 teaspoon of liquid smoke. And that's in the recipe too, but for a long time I didn't use the liquid smoke. And trust me, it is very good without the liquid smoke. If you have it, you can use it. If you don't, and the maple syrup, if you want to substitute another syrup, or if you don't have Worcestershire sauce, I just recommend eventually getting most of the ingredients it calls for, because the blend of the flavors is just amazing. And like I said, I make this a lot for times when I grill and when I'm having a lot of people over. Sometimes my party's big enough that I double the recipe. Usually what I do is make this first thing in the morning, and then I put a lid on it, turn it off, or set it to very low, and just let it sit while I'm doing the rest of the grilling. So that's one nice thing about this, making these beans. Another great thing about these beans, these can actually make a meal. I mean, I could eat these for lunch and they would make a perfect lunch. So when I have leftovers, and I say that laughing inside, because I don't think I've ever had leftovers after a party, unless it was just Dwayne and I eating and we made a pot of beans. So leftovers make a great lunch if you have leftovers. But this is one of the perfect things to make for a party.